Hello there and welcome to Company of Heroes 3, or at least our first look at Company of Heroes 3. We've just seen Relic drop a bomb, or the bomb. It was so unexpected for even me to see just how much detail they've shared with you. And for me personally, as part of a closed feedback group with a select few others, we are sworn to secrecy, and I won't reveal their names unless they want to be revealed themselves. We've had years of knowing this is going to happen, and it's been like mental gymnastics to talk to you guys on Twitch and YouTube, comments, in-game, wherever, thinking, oh yeah, wouldn't it be great sometime in the future? It's been really tough to keep that level of NDA and keep this amazing secret under wraps. I've got for you, this is all stuff you have available because I've had this privileged position. I mean, hands up, it has been a privileged position. It's been awesome. I've got insight for you and a little bit of analysis that you might not be able to make out yourself. So hopefully this proves helpful. This is going straight on YouTube thereafter. Obviously, I want to get those juicy YouTube views. Big time for the community. It's a big time to be a Company of Heroes player. And yeah, I'm just so excited. I'm so excited because it's like we've been running on empty. We've been running on fumes for years. We've been doing tournaments with like 1,000 viewers, like killing ourselves, like, or, you know, and now it's a whole new world. I feel like Aladdin. No, I do. Anyway, let's get on with this bloody presentation, shall we? Firstly, nice transition. I'm loving new PowerPoint. We're just going to go for a vision of CoH3, or what I think their vision is, technical insights that I've made, new features that are coming, Italy as a setting, the feedback on the experience, that should have a few more words in it, opinions, and then trailer analysis and screenshots. My print screen button is broken on my keyboard. I was going like crazy. And then number 8, competitive CoH3 wish list. You know, you guys know me. You know I'm very skewed towards one particular side of the community, and yeah, that's what I want to do. So yeah, this is my personal content. So if you're restreaming this right now, please go away. This is my personal view, and let's have a look, shall we? Right, vision for CoH3. That's the wrong slide. This is Italy as a setting. Mess my slides up. Italy as a setting. I was going like crazy whilst that trailer was going on. Italy as a setting. I remember this slide. I'm going to ignore it because I actually have that later on. My take on their vision, this is what I actually wanted here. They are combining the best of both games. Well and truly, that was the absolute directive from CoHQ, David Littman. You've gotten to know that guy. I spoke to him in person in Vancouver. I'll get onto that in a little bit. And that has been their mantra from day one. And I don't want to talk about too much detail, but I was kind of asked, and all the questions I was being asked were, you know, very skewed to how can we get the best and brightest people from both games in the series. So that they've drawn upon the mega minds, or I hope they are, at least I'm kind of being arrogant, I guess, there. But anyway, they've drawn upon a really nice selection, of both CoH1 and CoH2 kind of community mainstays. That was the closed group, at least. Next, what I've gotten from them, they do want to innovate, but they also want to iterate. They want this to feel like the best Company of Heroes game possible. And that's kind of obvious. That's not like some passionate... They're money making. They want to grab... Feel that money in your wallet. They want it. And they know the way to get it is to make the best Company of Heroes possible. It's that easy. Lasting legacy for the series. I'm full of hype. Can you hear my voice? Lasting legacy for the series. Right. I can't get too much into this, but I get that they're in this for the long haul. They're all in on the Company of Heroes train. They love it. The struggle to satisfy everyone. You guys, obviously, you're going to have this closed alpha. That's pretty much what we've been working with as well. Not closed alpha, pre-alpha. And you're going to notice that it's skewed a bit more to campaign and stuff. There is going to be a struggle to satisfy everyone. But it seems like Relic are trying their best so far. I'm really proud of them because at first, during this overall process, I was really scared that the multiplayer aspect would fall by the wayside, etc. Can't go into much detail, and to be honest, not enough details even available because Relic are moving that fast, they're working that hard. It's difficult to keep up with them, quite frankly. And lastly, learn from mistakes. It is so clear that they will never even mention that bottom line, and I don't want to even mention it out loud because it's harsh on Relic, quite frankly, because they've already turned over a new leaf in my books. They've already learned from the mistakes, in my opinion, of that aforementioned game that may or not have actually existed. I'm not even sure. But still, that could have ended Relic, and they're still fighting. They had the big influx of money from Microsoft to develop Age of Empires, which I think probably came at exactly the right time. And this is all my opinion. I don't know if this is for certain. It's just the way I see it, right? And they've had a fresh chance. And we're lucky they have, because now they've been able to learn from all their mistakes. And I think it is, if you cut Company Heroes through with a bread knife, you'd see learn from the mistakes of Dawn of War 3 all the way through it. They won't say it, but I'll say it because that's my opinion on what I've gathered from the early stages. Next, this is actually my technical insights. It's not a new engine, I don't think, but it's basically a new engine. It feels completely different. You play it and you're like, wow, this is new. This is, and I think it comes onto my second point. It's synergy with the Age of Empires 4 team. So many people, so many learned scholars of our community was so certain that Company of Heroes 3 was not happening, and the reason is, how can a little studio from Vancouver, an RTS specialist studio, develop Age of Empires 4 and Company of Heroes 3 at the same time? Now, I don't want to go too much into this because I'll probably break NDA or whatever, but it's clear that there's a heck ton of synergy that can be happening there. If you're building an engine up for one game, let's say it's not a new engine, they're building an engine up, you can do the same for the other game. So that profits and benefits both games, and especially Company Heroes 3, because as you can probably guess, Age of Empires 4 production would have started sooner, and that's just an obvious assumption. So Company Heroes 3, our game, gets all the juicy benefit. It's great. It's a great, what a time to be alive. Mixture of old and new voice lines. You'll notice that. I like that they've kept some of the really good old ones. I think it's all new voice acting, though. You're all going to see that. That's available, and it would have been in the trailer, so hopefully not giving you any information I shouldn't be. But yeah, you'll see that there's some good new ones, and there's a mixture of old ones, and I hope they keep adding new ones and interesting ones, and I want to see more funny, dark humour, satire. Like those Indian artillery guys you saw in that company, I want them to hate the British in a really dark, satirical way. And also be really funny about it. I just want character, and I hope they really work on the voice lines. Gameplay, it feels good to play so far for me. In a pre-alpha, really kind of surprised. I was just speaking to Love Nest actually on Steam. We're both surprised that they've chosen to do this 2 years prior, because it definitely does feel like a pre-alpha. You will experience bugs, you will experience frame rate droppage, whatever, but it's definitely a pre-alpha. It's not like a marketing term covering their backs pre-alpha. They're going in. They've basically leavened the dough at this point. The oven's warming. They're ready to finish off making this game, but they want to get everybody in as soon as possible. But yeah, the gameplay does feel good to play, in my opinion, at this point. Based on that scenario. The new mechanics, gonna get onto them in a little bit. Actually, I've got a separate slide, I think, coming here. Yes, indeed. Tactical pause works how you think it'll work. That guy in their previous video, he was clearly a noob, and it was a little bit cringe when he was panning down the camera, I personally found, but it does work really well, actually. As a seasoned Company Heroes veteran myself, I found it quite intuitive. I can imagine campaign. I'm going to grab a beer, probably going to queue up some commands. It just plays like that. It's great. It's really good. The UI for that, I don't think is fleshed out, though. I don't think that big clunky box in the center will probably be how it ends up looking, in my opinion. Naval warfare and air warfare. Oh, yeah. The naval warfare, that first bombardment, is really cool. The one on the, in the campaign screen. The main Ardennes assault kind of campaign screen. It does feel good, and I can really see how warships are going to play a really big part. I hope they do. I hope they expand on that. They mentioned Unterseeboots, or U-boats, and I'm just so excited for U-boats. I don't know. I know it's kind of gross loving the fact that Germans were sinking all these merchant vessels, but it's just, there's something cool about... Everybody's seen the film Das Boot, right? There's something cool about U-boats. So anyway, naval warfare, it does play a part. Air warfare plays a big part. Finally, we have the extra dimension, not only in the campaign map, but you may have noticed in that play-along, whatever it was, that you can actually use planes in the game now. They're bringing planes in. Don't want to say too much because I didn't see enough but they are, and you can see that. Side armor is a thing. We didn't know this! Relic, you bar stewards, you barkeepers. How dare you keep that from... I'm so sure that side armor was not confirmed to the closed alpha group. I swear to God, David Lippman just dropped a Sidewinder missile from the future. I was surprised, or maybe I just missed that in the pre-alpha. Oh, Sander says it was. Thank God. Okay, I'll stand down. Thank you, Sander. The ever honourable Sander in chat says it was a thing. I got really like, no, because I was still begging for that. I was still really hoping that side armor would be confirmed, and I think it was Sander just confirmed for me. It was really late in the feedback cycle when it was announced. Or mentioned, because we were still having forum posts about it for ages. So happy about that, guys, because that makes tank warfare now really way more realistic and authentic. It's going to be so much better. Breach mechanics, they went into that in detail and thing. You don't need to know why thing. Turn-based campaign, odd ends assault times 1,000, as Lippman said. Yeah, it's good. It's good. It feels, in my opinion, it brings back that the old Total War game feel. Do you know when Total War was fresh and you were playing Total War Rome in the 2000s? It's got that element to it. I like it. It's a little bit more... yeah, you kind of want to just play in that for a little bit. Admittedly, it's a bit tutorially at times, the starting, but just stick with that tutorial aspect and you'll actually find a really surprisingly deep turn-based campaign for a pre-alpha. I think it's going to be good. I really hope it is, because I've not played many RTS campaigns for a long time, so I really hope it's going to work out well. Next, this is just the tactical pause. I'm bringing in screenshots from the trailer. This is nothing you guys haven't already seen. These are literally stills from the trailer, so credit to Relic IGN. This is tactical pause, just showing just how that tactical cue pops up there. They didn't quite use it as much as they could. Italy, this is where I wanted to bring Italy as a setting. I knew I lost the previous slide, I couldn't find it. Italy as a setting. Why I've used this screenshot, okay. Verticality. Not only are they bringing air, not only they've got naval, not only they've got breach, all these new mechanics, they're now expanding how Company Heroes works vertically. Because, I tell you what, it didn't work vertically before. It just did not. Do you remember in Company Heroes 1 when there was even like craters and your tanks like jumped 10 feet in the air just to get over a crater? Or in Company Heroes 2 where 1% elevation is enough to make an anti-tank gun miss? No, they are now adding a third dimension. It's not just using planes, they're actually using 3 dimensions to do... you know what I'm trying to say, guys. Mortars make a huge difference now. And the idea of a struggle up the hill, you can only imagine, like, hopefully the Italy campaign finishes with Monte Cassino, and the idea of pushing up and taking that against all the odds, it's just the stuff of fantasy. It's awesome. Yes, there are other settings they could have done. For example, the Pacific, for example, North Africa, for example, Eastern Front. Again, I like the Eastern Front, sue me. But I really think Italy offers something new. It's vibrant. It does have its gritty elements as well, and it's just going to feel like Company Heroes in 2021, in my opinion. All right, closed feedback group. Yes, that's what I want to go next. Here we go. Should trust in PowerPoint. Under NDA, as you've already heard. Group sent to Vancouver. God, that was crazy. I think it was, I want to say 2018 or 17. That's how long ago. And we went to Vancouver. We had a fantastic time. And we didn't even know what we were going over for. That was this crazy thing. It could have been to test the new Shark Skin DLC pack. We just didn't know. We were told that we needed, as I say, a nice group of people from CoH1, CoH2, and it was a very tight-knit group. I won't say their names, but very tight-knit. And then when we got told, we just had palpable hype and excitement around this table, and we had loads of feedback processes. We were treated really well by Relic. Excellent bunch of people. It was in their old offices, fortunately. But it was just such a lovely time. It was great. But then to harbour this secret for 3 years was such a toll. And took such a toll. But yeah, it was great to see Relic learning from the mistakes and learning and taking, I think, an industry-leading example. I've not seen any other developer quite utilise community from the literal concept phase quite like this, from my experience. I know they're doing it more and more these days, but I think Relic have not just copied, they've kind of pushed it a little bit further. I think it's really good, and you're going to see that with co-development. That's my next point. Get involved. I have found it frustrating at times, but that's because I'm an ego monster. I want full credit for every idea. I want a plinth built in my name. No, but seriously, joking aside, I genuinely feel I have been listened to as much as you would expect a third-party, unpaid civilian to be listened to. If you think that Relic are the profit-making developer, it's their IP, it's their baby, the fact that they're actually bringing people on at an early stage, and now you guys as well, and they do listen, and I think the level of interaction is just about right. I would say get involved. That's my advice. I think that you will find it rewarding. Have a spell? Sorry, get involved. That's what I've written. You'll find it rewarding, and I do think it's worth it. It's good putting a few hours into it at least, because then you'll be able to look back when CoH3 is made, and you'll be able to, I had an influence on that when you're playing. And it'll always be the way. If you get involved now, you will be rewarded. And as you've already heard, they recruited 2 of us from the closed test group. They're now working for Relic. Won't mention their names, but you can probably fill in the dots eventually yourself. So yeah, it's a really good opportunity in my opinion. I would get involved in the co-development and bring all your best ideas. Just try and not get frustrated, because there'll be a lot of people pitching in. Just make sure what you offer is concise, to the point, and you've thought about it before you write it, because it's much easier to just spam paragraphs. Okay, my opinions time. Not a Relic shill. Not a Relic shill. I'm taking my Relic shill goggles off. Okay, graphics. They're good. They are good. They're not amazingly good. They're to be expected for a 2021 version of Company of Heroes. It's an RTS at the end of the day. All those idiots in that IGN chat saying the graphics are rubbish. They're wrong. Get into it, play it yourself. They're pretty damn good. It does feel like Company of Heroes 3. It does not feel like Company of Heroes 2.5. I think you're going to be happy. Gameplay. I've already mentioned this actually, but yeah, gameplay, it feels pretty good. It definitely feels like pre-alpha. And me and other players are a little bit surprised they're releasing it this early, but fair dues to them. Setting and feel. Yeah, I think I've already talked about this, but the overall feel of the game, I think it feels vibrant and a little bit kind of maybe overly vibrant. I want there to be grit and blood and guts. Just like old Blood and Guts, of course, Patton, because he'll be heavily involved in Italy, of course. But with the church steeple falling down and the throwing knife, and I don't think it looks cartoonish like Age of Empires 4 looks. No offense to Relic, but that does look too cartoonish. I do think they're just about hitting the right scope there. Potential in this setting, I think it has unbridled potential. If you think, okay, they could have gone earlier. They could have gone with North Africa. They could have gone with Sicily. They could have gone with the Western attack on France. We've never seen an attack in Germany in 1940, for God's sake. It's always been this defensive old Germany, and that is a little bit disappointing. That it's the kind of defensive German army that we're so used to seeing. However, the potential of Italy as the soft underbelly is actually really interesting. I do like that, because it means they can strike upwards from there. They can, and now with the naval warfare well utilized, you could see that perhaps the Pacific could be in the future. All of this is basically, I have no idea myself. They're not telling us. We only know what you guys have seen, and I'm just riffing here. But I just like the potential that CoH3 offers right now. It feels sexy and it feels exciting. And I think Italy is a nice place to start, basically. New UI, my feedback on that is, let me tell you the tale of Company of Heroes 2 Alpha. AE was 23 years old. He was fat and working in a call center. He was playing on the pre-alpha, right? And I was one of the many voices saying how crap the UI was. We said it was trash. The Company of Heroes 1 UI was so much better. Then, over the years, it was like Relic was right all along. It was like, do you know that the buttons across the top right? The very innovative, the command strip, whatever you want to call it, the unit portraits. They are now like, you can't play Company of Heroes without them. The horizontal resource layout, we were like, no, it has to be vertical like CoH1. Now, I completely get it. You select what building you want, it comes up above it, you can understand how much it costs to get the said unit. Really intuitive. Now this UI, it's basically in keeping with modern computer gaming. It shows as much of the game as humanly possible. Now let me watch my cursor here. You see it? Is it on the screen? Yeah, there you go. Company Heroes 2, the UI would go down from the tap map, from the top of that plane there. It would cover all of the game here. You wouldn't see this bush, for God's sake. You really want to see that bush? You paid to see that bush. Yes, you could scroll your camera, but scrolling the camera is for the lazy. Joking aside, this UI is exactly what it needs to be. It's the information you need to see and nothing else. No bullshit. No backdrop with some gristled, bullet hole ridden background. Who the wants to see that? So basically, I am imploring you to give this UI a chance. This is exactly what you need to see. I personally, before even Company Heroes 3 was an idea I even knew about, this is how I personally hoped they would go, the direction. I always wanted to have less blocky crap on the screen and just the information you want to see, and that is what they've done. So I really hope it's going to work well. One thing here, you'll see that the planes, the tanks, etc., the infantry, they're in strips, so that's definitely signifying that, of course, that planes are now the true third dimension of warfare that you will be able to utilize in the skies above you. Which is really good. And big shout out to people like Mirage Flaw on his mod back in the day. He was trying to make planes have health bars and stuff like that. And now finally we actually have it. It's here now, it's not up here. Your eyes are going to have to get used to it, guys. The reason it's here, your cursor's there, for God's sake. Your cursor's clicking around the center of the screen. You want your infantry and all your things close to the center of the screen. It's that simple. You don't want it in the top right. So this very quick thing to learn, it's going to pay dividends in the long term for your micro. It really will. And also it's much more visible in the center of the screen. Okay, next. Trailer screenshots and breakdown. I didn't have time for proper sentences, guys. Give me a break. These transitions are going to be quite annoying after a while. SAS. Is it? Kind of looks like them. I like it. Kind of elite. US meets the Brits. Just look at that CGI trailer. It's badass. It's just so bloody cool. And yeah, I love it. Absolutely love it. This partisan lady, you absolutely keep your kind of Battlefield, World War II, and what was the other game? It was Call of Duty World War II, and it was Battlefield 5, wasn't it? Where those trailers were panned for being too feminist. This lady was genuinely part of the Italian resistance against the fascists. Go and research just how many women fought and died in the Italian resistance movement, and they're all heroines. Go and read about it. It's really badass, and I thought it's really tastefully done in the trailer. Hats off to Relic. That just looks awesome. And that is, by the way, how the first campaign makes you feel if you've had a few beers. It looks like this. Does that say to Brooke? I can't say anything about that. But that's cool, isn't it? That is cool. Wow. Awesome. It's a screenshot that's on my screen. Isn't it cool, guys? What's going on there? Wow. This reminds me of Company Heroes 1. Do you remember when you had to get the flak emplacement up the beach? Storm the beach, get the flak emplacement. Recycling old content, Relic. That's the demo from 2015. 2005, sorry. It's been 16 years. Love it. Base buildings are back. Proper base buildings. This is one of the biggest feedbacks from the closed feedback group. We were like, can we actually have real proper super duper base buildings? And as you will have seen, they are built automatically now. You have automatronic men that run out of your headquarters. They build them for you. You would have seen that in the gameplay trailer. Sorry, gameplay playthrough on the IGN stream, which I print screen. Thank you, IGN. Nextios. I just thought that was a pretty cool backdrop. I liked it. I print screened it. There you go. Not much more to say about that. Churchills are my favourite tank. Oh, and there's some more of them. Do you know what I like about Churchills, guys? They were brutal feats of engineering. They're like a World War I kind of steampunk-esque tank that made no sense. Also, the driver could barely see anything because the tracks protruded all the way. But they were badass vehicles. One of the best tanks of the Second World War, and one of the only few good tanks the British actually managed to build. thought that was a good one. Very reminiscent of the CoH2 screenshots, aren't they, then? That is, that's a good one. Not much to say about it, though. Look at that verticality. Love it. So you can imagine storming up the steps, breaching the keep. It's beautiful. And just look at the colour palettes utilised. Because it's Italy, it's so colourful. That, I believe, is a... I don't want to say it's a unit. It's not, unless it is. Bum. Oh, God. I googled it and then it showed, yes, that is a Nashorn tank destroyer. Just double checking, don't want to say anything improper. It's a Nashorn tank destroyer, so that is confirmed as a vehicle in the game. Next. That was a nice one, wasn't it? It looks kind of... There's a big-ass battleship. I love battleships. Always remember from Total Annihilation how much bigger they were than everything else. There's a little M8 for you. Or no, it's a Scout car variant. It's not quite an M8, is it? It's a different one, that, I believe. Probably an M8, actually. The flame effects, by the way, that's going to be one of the things you most notice. The flame effects look, quite frankly, awesome. There was a few dodgy ones I saw in the trailer, and I was like, why did those make it into the trailer? When you guys play the pre-alpha, you're going to love the flame effects. One of those badass things you can build. Really do love it. So this is a British artillery piece. I forget what they're called, but it's pretty badass. You've got the red berets there fighting. Panzer IV, scout car in the background. The FPS will kill you, Jibber. It is a pre-alpha. We've all experienced that. And wait till you see a familiar friend. It's possible to see. I'm not going to say what the familiar friend, because I want this to be a good YouTube video. I love the full on kind of Stuka and Messerschmitt elements in the game. They look really good to play up against and to play on the airfield mission. This is just such luscious gameplay elements. It just makes Company of Heroes 2 campaign look like a piece of trash, quite frankly. That the level design is awesome. You're really going to enjoy it. I love the flags on display here. This is a zoomed out kind of concept piece from the trailer, just showing just how magnificent the campaign will feel. And if you can zoom out this extent, I think we'll all be very happy. Next, I've forgotten what that's bloody called. It's not the Calliope variant. It was the T4, I believe. T4 Sherman. It's called something else. T4 Sherman. Whiz Bang. Rocket. It's the Whiz Bang. The T40 Whiz Bang. That's what that is. So go Wikipedia that. I'll drop you a link. Yeah, there you go. Next, yos. I'm going to have questions and answers later, guys. Right, we've done all the screenshots now. My launch MP wish list, top 10. Consider, guys, that there's not been any clarifications for me. I have no confirmations from Relic. This is me as a fan, what I want. I want 2 good, well-balanced factions. Bad English, Matt. I want 2 well-balanced factions. They've mentioned that'll be more than 2. I just genuinely want 2 well-balanced. I'm a competitive guy. I'd rather have quality over quantity. That's just me. Ladders with seasons. That implies I want ladders at launch, unlike CoH2. But with seasons, definitely. I just love the seasonal element of StarCraft 2, of Overwatch, these great games, where it feels like if your ladder ranks are terrible, you can do your homework and come back stronger next season. I quite like that. 2 good maps per mode. I want at least 2 good maps. I don't want a crap ton of maps at launch. I don't want the map makers of Relic making, you know, a theme park in Italy. Oh, that'd be pretty cool. Writing that down, that'd be badass, actually. No, I do want 2 very good maps at launch that use tried and tested methodology, that are great to play on, and I want them well tested. Reconnect features. I mean, surely. Come on, Relic. It's 2021. I did put remappable hotkeys, but then I had that confirmed for me during the trailer, so I added yes. There's only 9 wish list now. Next, yo. Replay and observer modes. Please, come on. This is the lifeblood of marketing for Relic. The amount of bloody babies I have in this community, the amount of people that have watched my casting with Stormless, Ed 80Hz, etc. The amount of people that have watched those casts of big tournaments and found this game, they must include observer mode from launch. It's so essential to growth. And I hate to sound arrogant there, that's just my experience, guys. Keep in mind, that's my little bubble, and that's the way I see things. So I'm not just trying to say, oh, look at me. But that's my experience. So I know how valuable observer mode is. Without it, you're casting replays in tournaments, it kind of feels crappy. But then replays, some games don't launch with replay functionality at launch. So at the very least, replays, but preferably, please, observer mode. Proper custom lobbies like CoH1. I love the CoH1 custom lobbies. You had so much freedom of expression, of fun, of bullying noobs. It was great fun. What I hated though, and what I've always hated in Company Heroes, is the inability to mute people. Company Heroes 1 had that insane whisper function, where if somebody whisper, you go doo-doo whilst you're playing. Then they can whisper spam you, so you go doo-doo, 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 constantly. It was awful. Then in CoH2, they had the worst pinging noise of all time. They trained a choir of crickets and gave them LSD, and they're every effing time somebody pings you. It sounds 5 times. There are 5 big yellow circles on the screen, and you can't mute it. You cannot stop that. So somebody wants to ping you constantly. They don't like you. They end up on a team with you. You can't get away from it. And that is why AE specializes in 1 versus 1. New game modes. I want them. I want crazy game modes. I want tower defense with your buddies. What was it from CoH1? My brain's on overdrive, guys. Tell me what it's called. I want awesome new game modes. I want to experiment. I want to do cool things. I want an annihilation lobby, crazy 5-minute no rush. I want mega stuff. Operation Stonewall, thank Antamuli and Sander. Loads of people said that. Next of all, I'm not going to comment on DLC because I don't want to be a Debbie Downer, but I want all the standard tools of Company Heroes gameplay to be non-doctrinal. I'm talking flamethrowers, I'm talking minesweepers, I'm talking sniper rifles. I want it all to be non-doctrinal, please, Relic. Please, Papa Relic. Don't give me a battle group with the flamethrower for the Brits. No, 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 no. I want all the traditional World War II stuff to be in the base faction. Please. Please, please, please. Then you can do whatever the hell you want other than that. That has been my presentation. Any questions? Let me bring up chat on the old screen here. There we go. I want your baby chocolate Dolphish says. Rocket Artillery, please listen. I want the Panzer Elite announcer. We're Jagdpanzer, goddammit, and we hate you. Did you get a chance to speak about the breaching in multiplayer? I spoke about it. It works well, I think. I do believe that garrisons have always been a problem in Company Heroes 1 and 2. And many patches have tried to deal with them, and it's already been difficult. If indeed no one can ever assure you it is kind of a law, but hopefully 3rd time's the charm for Relic making a British faction. How will resources work? Did it show you that on the screen? Can somebody confirm that it showed how the resources work? Because if so, I can talk about that. One of my favourite points is this. I'm just going to scroll down briefly. Did it show you it? Yes, it's CoH1 resource points. It said it confirmed. Thank Lord Jesus Christ, every other religion's deity. Because, yes, finally, we're getting rid of that awful Company of Heroes 2 strategic resource system. No, sorry, it's not a strategic resource system. It's a standard territory point system. There is no ability for the map maker, and I've spoken to every great map maker that's ever made a map in this community, so I know what I'm on about. There is no tool in Company Heroes 2 to make the maps work in the way the map maker wants it to work. The reason is because you can't have a null point. You can't just have a point that connects a big point of contention. Every point is a point of contention. So you end up with this insane capping simulator because every resource has got to be fought for, because everything's 3 fuel, 5 munitions. You can't get away from it. So finally we return to Company Heroes 1 where map makers have the power. Melee, you saw a throwing knife in the trailer, so let's hope so. Counters to breaching, I hope so. I don't know the answer to that. Maps of campaign. So how does it work when there's so many places to pick on the map? There is no map. Resent, it's like a strategic mega map, isn't it? So you get choice of what you do with it. Soren Kepler, it does not look like shit. Just go play it, mate. If you've got a good, I've got a GTX 1080. I've been playing this pre-alpha, and thanks to Relic for the opportunity to play it first. But But yeah, no, it does look really good, to be fair. There was something wrong about that gameplay walkthrough. I don't know what computer they were playing on, or if they purposely played it at a lower spec so they didn't crash. But I promise you, it certainly looks a little bit better than that. Side armor or no buy. It has side armor, that's been confirmed. You could see on the minimap, yeah, it's a Vico system. Thank you, Sander. Good man. No, it does not. It does TC songs. It does not go back to CoH1 in full. No, it is not population equals territory points, and that's a good thing. Company Heroes 2 brought in too many combat mechanics, but Company Heroes 1 was slightly too harsh. So this game is going to be the best of both games. It's like meeting in the middle. Finding, I know people like TC songs don't like the idea of anything from Company Heroes 2, joking, but it's going to meet in the middle. They're trying to bridge the gap and make the best Company Heroes game possible. At least that's what they're trying to do. Let's hope to Relic that it works. What are snipers like? Juicy. They make a nice noise. It's good. But at the moment, you will soon find they're very... Hopefully you can build them. Hopefully I'm not breaking it, but they're very similar to how snipers have kind of worked in CoH 2. Captain Frog, will there be running tournament for CoH 3? Let's bloody hope not. People like me should not have to work as hard as I've worked. They should not. It should be pushed by the developer and the publisher and sponsors and esports companies. I didn't want to be a tournament organizer. I had to be. And I'm not saying that because I think I'm some martyr. I love casting this game. But if I didn't, I wouldn't have had games to cast. I want games to cast, so I hope Relic have a huge program of automated tournaments. Like, you go up to the system, you click new tournaments, people join, hey presto, tournament. I hope they have sponsors, I hope they have that the publisher pumps money into it. Because I want to be a caster. My job is an accountant. I don't want to be doing spreadsheets in my bloody spare time. That's my answer to that one. Can we reverse? Yes, Sadie. Sorry guys, I'm not keeping up with you here. I'll have to read out the questions. What current games is it best compared to? CoH 2, I would say. But it's got lots of good stuff from CoH 1. Any info on factions, battle groups? None that I can only say what you guys have already seen. And I'm up to date. Yes, Colonel Angus. I agree fully. I completely agree. But I don't want to say any more than we've already seen in the trailers. So that might mean there's a big emphasis on that, or it might not mean there's a big emphasis on that. Right, a few more questions, because I want this to be a nice, good video for YouTube. I don't want it to go over. So just one or two more questions, then I'll sign off. Does the game punish blobbing? I bloody hope so. You heard that people... I am wearing pants. Da, da, da. No, I'm joking. Do you think Soviets will return? I hope so, Paul. They owe it to the Russians, the patriotic war. Yes, they might have been communists and they may have done a bit of fratricide here and there, but they certainly saved the Western world from Nazi dominance. So I think Relic would... I think we should go back to that theatre at some point, but I have no idea. Indeed, I've really heard from the community team. My understanding from them is that they are like being incredibly professional about all of that kind of stuff, and I'm really impressed by it so far, it must be said. Yep, they go when you run them over. Is a me. Do you remember the noise from Command & Conquer when you crush a man? They've just taken that noise, and that's the only noise you hear. It's great. Made it up. But yeah, one or two more questions. Improved control. They have side armor. No ties. Sorry, Isilda. How was your holiday, by the way, in the Bahamas? Alright then, guys, so that's me done for YouTube purposes now. I'm gonna nail this down, send it over there, and hopefully capture that huge market share. Beautiful. So yeah, thanks very much for watching. Let's see how somebody we can host.